I was disappointed in the Blacks and the Browns in episode 6. I'm not gonna hold you. I was very disappointed in the Blacks and the Browns because I'm like, fam, come on now.
Yeah. Woke up this morning, been in that shine. Whole team got the glow. You can see it in the stride. Got me feeling brand new. Feeling brand new. Feeling brand new. Feeling brand new. Got me feeling brand new. Feeling brand new. Feeling brand new. Feeling brand new. Yeah.
What up, YouTube? It's your boy JusRzd, and today, welcome to another edition of Rage Reviews, where we break down, recap, and review different series and shows that I'm watching. Today, we are breaking down and reviewing episode 5 and 6 from Daredevil Born Again. And man, oh man, I've said in every episode, Daredevil is back because he is. Daredevil has been such an enjoyable watch. It's been such an enjoyable watch. There's something in my eye, but it's been such an enjoyable watch. Just to see Charlie Cox back in the role, back in the helm, back in the suit, back in the cowl, and to see so many of the returning faces, and to see so much of the returning faces and just welcome characters that we haven't seen in a while. I love the way that the storytelling is putting him and Kingpin's story parallel to one another. Like it's just so beautifully crafted. I love that aspect of this particular show. Episode 5 was actually dope to me. It was really dope to me. Episode 6 was hard too, but episode 5 was really dope to me because we got a heist episode. Anybody knows me knows I love a good heist episode. Money Heist, fire show on Netflix. Check it out if you haven't already. Money Heist, phenomenal. But like the Ocean series and all that stuff, like I love a good heist film. Now You See Me, fire. Or I think that's what it was called. Wasn't it called Now You See Me? Where they were like magicians, but they were still. Anyway, comment below what movie I'm talking about. I think it's Now You See Me. I don't know. I could be wrong. But I love a heist film. Shout out to my kids. But I love a heist film. The Daredevil, like I said, the Daredevil show has been done very well. Matt trying to get a loan for the practice. For the practice that he works for, of course. And lo and behold, the assistant branch manager at the bank that he tries to get a loan from is Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan's father. Shout out to Daddy Khan. We're going to call him Daddy Khan. But Daddy Khan is the assistant bank manager. And it was just dope to see him back in the MCU. It was dope to see him back interacting with Matt. And just having a good old time, good conversation throughout the entire episode, and just the rapport that they built up. They mentioned Kamala's name an absurd amount of times. Like, yeah, my daughter Kamala Khan, she's in California right now, but when she comes, do you want to have dinner with my daughter Kamala Khan? Look, it's a bobblehead. He's like, sir, I can't see it, I'm blind. Oh, yeah, my bad. Touche. But yeah, I thought episode 5 was done very well. We got to see an elaborate scheme from one of the villains that was instructed to pay 1.8 million to another villain. And we see that the way that they're planning on getting the 1.8 million is by planning a heist to steal a diamond that's worth 1.8 million. And unfortunately, they just happen to rob the bank right when Matt Murdock was in there. He ends up getting denied for the loan, of course. So he ends up exiting, and he hears that a heist is going down in the bank after he exits the bank. And so he ends up walking back into the bank as like a blind pedestrian, and just pretty much ruins their plans, and is thoroughly disruptive throughout the process of the heist. Switching places with hostages. He ends up cracking a safe, which was a super dope scene to me. I love the way that they're showcasing. I love the way that they are showcasing Matt's abilities, like his hearing, his sound, his hearing, his touch, all that stuff. Like, I love the way they're accentuating those different things. And this episode was no different. Like, he was having a whole conversation with Daddy Khan at the safe after taking out a couple of assailants, and was literally cracking the safe that was like this top of the line safe, and he's just sitting there. So your daughter, right? You got more kids? No, you don't. Okay, your daughter. Okay, and just cracking the safe the whole time. Ends up cracking the safe. They find out what they were looking for. It's a diamond. Daredevil ends up offering the diamond before the police rush in to the robbers, and pretty much gets their attention. Chaos ensues once the police bust in, and from what it looked like, the robbers got away with the heist super clean. At least that's what they thought. One of the robbers ends up switching his gear to a police uniform, ends up exiting the bank, and thinks he got away with it, but Matt ends up walking him down. He exits the bank. He almost gets stopped by the police, but one of the hostages is like, nah, he was in here with us. He's one of ours. And so they let him go. And he still has the red mask from the assailant he beat up, and puts on the red mask and goes to town on his brother in some scaffolding. And I mean, beat the brakes off this man. Like, beat the brakes off this man. He ended the whole combat with a double knee to his leg. That brother ain't never gonna be able to walk a straight line ever again. He gave him permanent Kenny Smith knees. That's crazy. But that's crazy. Double knees to the leg is excessive. Yeah, I'm just saying that's excessive, man. But it was just funny. Just the whole setup, the whole scheme, the fight in the hallway in the stairwell was actually pretty dope. He's choking somebody out, hears the gun about to fall and make a loud noise. It's a shotgun, and he ends up catching it mid choke out. That was fire. Like I said, I love the way they're accentuating his abilities and his powers. He was able to sense whose heartbeats were sporadic in the hostages, because it turns out the thieves, the criminals, were actually working with one of the people inside that was inside as a hostage. And they end up passing off the diamond, or so they thought, to that lady so she could pass it along to the people that they owed. And unfortunately, what Daredevil tossed him was not the diamond, but it was actually a orange candy or some type of candy. And yeah. So they realized that they've been played, and their leader gets beat up. So that particular episode kind of ends on a positive note. It was a nice kind of side episode, in my opinion. It was a nice like side episode to just show us some MCU connections to Daredevil Born Again, as far as I was about to call her real name, Iman Vellani, but Ms. Marvel's father, Daddy Khan, in there as the assistant bank manager. And it was just dope to see them interacting, because that was one big thing about the Netflix Defender series, and Daredevil and Punisher and all that stuff. Like, the only thing they really mentioned was the battle in New York. They never really were able to like mention or really go in depth on the things happening in the MCU and how it was affecting people. They just kind of had to be in their own world, because at that time, Marvel Studios and Marvel Television weren't on the same page. You know what I mean? So Marvel Television was its own thing, Marvel Studios was its own thing. So we had the films, and then we had TV all doing their own thing. And so now it's almost like a breath of fresh air that we get to see Daredevil, Matt Murdock, Charlie Cox interacting with MCU characters and like not being a jerk and like just being cool. So I thought that was pretty dope. Episode 6. Shout out to the BB report. We keep seeing the BB report. I kind of like that little tidbit of storytelling. Like, I kind of like the BB report randomly interviewing people on the street. I think that's pretty cool. It like adds an extra. It almost adds character to the city. You feel me? Like it almost adds character to the city, because we get to see what the people are thinking. When it comes to vigilantes, when it comes to the different things that are affecting the city, like we get to kind of see how it affects them. We got to see they were talking about vigilantes, and we see the return of a vigilante. I was surprised to see Swordsman from Hawkeye. We got to see his return in vigilante form and in business attire. Kingpin had like a meeting as the mayor. It was like a black tie dinner where he had to pretty much win over some constituents and some donors and council members to approve his plans for Red Hook. And yeah, they were kind of playing with him. I ain't gonna hold you. They was kind of just like sunning him a little bit. They was just like, yeah, we know who you are, but you the little dog, you the little brother in this situation. You're not the big brother. You can't come over here barking orders because we run this city. And even Swordsman tried to warn him. He was just like, look, man, this ain't gonna go how you think it's gonna go. this ain't gonna go how you think it's gonna go. He was like, oh, is that a threat? He was like, nah, it's more of a warning. These people, they kind of run the city, and they're not just gonna let you just do what you want to do. And he was just like, all right. The whole time, it was so funny watching Kingpin in those moments, because the whole time he's getting son and getting little brother, you kind of see him like, all right. You just kind of see his response like, all right. This how y'all gonna do? This how y'all gonna? Oh, all right. And it was just funny to see him get frustrated. He ends up having to go handle some important business because they end up finding out about Muse while he's at the dinner. So he has Vanessa just apologize on his behalf and kind of still mingle with the people. And we see the introduction of Muse in episode 6, where now the police have become aware of Muse. He's pretty much unalived around 60 people. His paint that he uses to paint the murals is actually mixed with people's blood. So it's like impossible to wash off. So it's just like he's doing a lot. Muse is doing a lot. And we see just even we see Matt and his girl, the therapist lady. She's writing a book about vigilantes. Are they necessary? Are they good for society? Are they overrated? She wants to interview Frank Castle, and Matt just kind of laughs at her. She was like, "Well, what about Daredevil? You guys have worked together before, right?" And he just kind of looked off into space like, I know she's not about to try to interview Daredevil. And then he snaps out of it. He's like, all right, go to work. It was just funny to see his reaction. Like him and Kingpin just had funny reactions this episode to me of people just talking. And we see Kingpin just dealing with a lot of frustrating situations and a whole lot of frustrating news and information, and we see him just kind of express to Sheila his like right hand in the politics. He's just like, yo, I'm tired of these black tie events. Like I'm tired of doing all this. And she was like, I feel you, but you kind of got to show that you're the mayor. Like these are mayoral things. Like you kind of got to do it. And he's just like, all right, whatever. And then everything kind of comes to a head once Muse is found out. Kingpin kind of zones out in the meeting and starts laughing, and he's just like, all right, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to initiate the anti-vigilante task force. I'm going to lead this operation, and I want pretty much the worst of the cops, and we're going to put them on the anti-vigilante task force. It was funny because the police chief saw who he selected and was just like, these are a bunch of bad apples. He was just like, well, I like to call them something different. So we're going to go with the anti-vigilante task force. And he kind of hypes them up, has a meeting with them, kind of gives them a celebratory hoorah, and gives them like a mission statement in the meeting. And pretty much is letting them know like things are going to change and it's going to start with y'all. And so we see Matt gets visited at his office by Hector Ayala's niece. And pretty much she's trying to tell him that, yo, my uncle was onto something. He found some information. He was looking into all the kidnappings because Muse then kidnapped and unalived about 60 people. And so it's just like he was looking into something. He got it. He was looking into the the kidnappings, and it kind of leads to this abandoned subway tunnel that he was investigating. And Matt's like, well, what do you want me to do about it? He was like, anything, do something, do something. Like, just don't sit there on your hands and not do nothing, but do something. Like, do something, John. And it was just funny, man, just seeing Daredevil kind of acting like he got his hand tied, knowing good and well, like, bro, you could really go see about that brother and see what's up with him. Whole time, Muse is just out and about painting murals, and this is where I have an issue, because he gets approached by a young Caucasian lady and a young lady of color, and it looks like they might be a little tipsy. They see Muse. It's like, yo, are you Muse? We want to see if we can take a picture. He turns around, looks crazy. Next thing we know, we see his mural with the two unalived bodies of the women that approached him. And I'm like, come on now. Come on. I was disappointed in the blacks and the browns in episode 6. I'm not going to hold you. I was very disappointed in the blacks and the browns, because I'm like, fam, come on now. Come on. You know good and well we don't walk up on nobody in no dark alley that's spraying anything on the wall. I don't care if you thought they was a celebrity or not. You spraying something on the wall in the dark alley. We as people of color ain't walking up to you. I'm just saying. Unless you coming at us crazy. But we not about to initiate that interaction. And then once you turn around looking crazy, we out. Ain't no way we finna stay there. And nah. So I was disappointed in the blacks and the browns. And as far as with Hector Ayala's niece, she ends up leaving the meeting with Matt, ends up going down to the tunnels anyway, despite his dismissal of what she tried to bring him, and was just like, yo, just let the police handle it. She was just like, they not gonna handle it because it's my uncle. Like, what do you mean? And so she goes down there investigating at night. This is where I get disappointed in the Browns, because why the baby outside at night? Come on now. Real brown, and the blacks and the browns is not going outside down an abandoned subway tunnel by themselves at night. We not doing that. Unless we got superpowers, that's different. But just regular, no powers, and she ain't got no powers, she ain't a kid. So I'm just like, all right, bro, what is this, the Goonies? Like, come on. So anyway, she gets captured, and Muse takes her to his lair, and pretty much puts the little huge syringe thing in her that like takes the blood out of his victims. And Daredevil gets a call from Hector Ayala's wife. It's like, yo, my niece hasn't come home, and it's not like her. She hasn't called. She hasn't done anything. I don't know what's going on. And she said she was coming to see you. You were the only person I knew to call to see what happened. And he was just like, no. I'll see what's up. So he hangs up the phone. And he just kind of looks. Says, F it. He actually was about to call 911. And he was just like, you know what? F it. And he goes up, gets the cowl, puts the suit back on, and goes to the subway tunnel, ends up finding Muse, which is a hilarious scene, because you see him running in the distance, and I thought I was tripping for a second, because I'm like, yo, is that something in the distance, or am I tripping? Then you see him use his little grappling hook to gain speed and just zip lines a high knee into Muse. It was so funny, because Muse is just sitting there looking like, am I tripping? Am I tweaking? Or is somebody running down here? And Matt just went in there and went crazy on Buddy. Like, he just went in there and put hands, feet, everything on that man. Like, he beat the brakes off of Muse. I ain't gonna hold you. Almost ended up choking him out. The only reason why he stopped is because, unfortunately, Hector Ayala's niece's heartbeat was getting weak. So he stopped. Her heart almost stopped, and he had to do some chest compressions to get it back. Gets it back. She survives. He saves her, but Muse escapes. And the whole time this fight is going on, we also have another fight where we have Kingpin walking down into his creepy lair basement thing with the axe, and he's talking to Adam, and he pretty much is like, yo, I had to fight people bigger than me all the time, and I had to use some help. I had to use weapons and all this, that, and the third. So he throws the axe at him in the cage, opens up the cage, and he's just like, there's the equalizer. Come on. Now, me personally, I ain't picking up the axe. I'm closing the cage and I'm sitting back down. I'm gonna be like, sir, I don't know what to tell you. I apologize for what transpired with your wife. I didn't know you. I thought y'all had broken up, but I didn't want no smoke. I should have never. You know what I mean? You can take my life if you want to, but I'm not about to fight you because you've been beating me up this whole time. I'm not about to do this. But of course, that would be me. But that would be me, a non-superpower person. That would be me. But he didn't take that route. He tried to fight Kingpin, and Kingpin slung that man all up and through that basement. He slung that man all up and through that basement, punched him 10 feet to the left. He was beating the brakes off of Adam. Poor Adam. He was beating the brakes off of that man. Like, it was so funny. Just to drag him back in the cell and sit down on the bed and just look at him. Like, fam, what is he? Come on, dog. You should have just stayed in there. You should have just stayed in there. And he was just like, yeah, my wife wants me to let this go, but I ain't really set up like that. I can't really do that. It was just funny. That whole episode interaction was funny, but I love the way not only did Matt slip back into his old ways of Daredevil, but now Kingpin has kind of like slipped back into his old ways as Kingpin. And so it's going to be interesting to see what happens in these next few episodes. I believe we have 3 more episodes left. We have episode 7, episode 8, and episode 9 for season 1, and they're currently shooting season 2. But yeah, I'm interested to see how the story pans out in the next 3 episodes. Now, as far as ratings for episode 5 and episode 6, episode 5, I'll probably give it a 9 out of 10. Probably give it a 9 out of 10. Well, no, actually, yeah, I give it a 9 out of 10 because I love heist. I love heist stuff. The episode 6, I'm also giving 9 out of 10. I thought it was dope the way they pushed the story forward in episode 6. I love what they did with introducing Muse to the forefront and all this, that, and the third. I really like that. I like the juxtaposition of Kingpin and Daredevil. And episode 5, it was a great time seeing him connect with somebody from the MCU. And I just thought it was dope. So both of them get 9s from me. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Episode 5 was probably my favorite. Episode 6 was super tough, though. Super tough. It was super close. But let me know in the comments below, what was your favorite part of episode 5 and episode 6? Let me know if I missed anything in the comments. Let's chop it up. Let's continue to build this community. And don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell so that way you can be notified anytime we drop a new video on the channel, which is every day. So stay tapped in, stay tuned in, stay locked in, and never forget, it's free soul to the soul free. Let's get it.